Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to War Thunder with yours truly WB886. Now today we're going to be flying out Gloster Meteor F.8 in some realistic battles on Korea this time. We're going to be kind of doing a sort of mini review of what this aircraft is. It's the top tier British jet in the Meteor line, from the Meteor F.3 all the way to the Meteor F.8. So this is Britain's top tier jet. So what is it like? At its tier, it's okay. It's not great. It's not fantastic. It's not CL13 product sort of thing. But it can do its job. It can definitely hold its own against things such as MiG-15, Sabres, CL-13s, etc., etc. The F8 model in particular has a very good rate of roll and a pretty decent turn time, which is its main defense against things such as the CL-13 and the MiG-15, as well as having 4 Hispano cannons. And the Hispano cannons aren't too bad. I mean, they have 760 rounds of ammunition, and you know, it only takes around, I don't know, 5-10 actual bullets to hit the aircraft before it's critically damaged. The guns are very good. The only issue with them is they're basically like shotguns, which is where you waste most of your ammunition because you're actually trying to hit the target. I mean, the rounds themselves are extremely powerful. As I said previously, they will knock out a target within 5 to 8 bullets. But the accuracy of them isn't very good, which is where you waste most of your ammunition. Engine-wise, the speed of this thing isn't too bad. It's not great, it's not fantastic, but it's an improvement. You can see a difference between the speed of this and, say, something like the Gloster Meteor F.8 LW. Now, my Gloster Meteor F.8 is upgraded to the max. As you can see here, my max speed is 585 miles per hour, with a turn time of 20 seconds, rate of climb of 37 meters a second. Meteor F.8 completely stock, slightly less. You can see you've knocked off about 20 miles per hour here, added 4 seconds of turn time, and a rate of climb of 14.8. So that knocks off around 3 seconds or meters per second for the climb rate. The engines are a lot more powerful in this. You gotta remember, this is completely stock compared to the upgraded Meteor F8. Meteor F4 here. So just be aware of that. But without further ado, let's get in game. So, seeing as we are flying out the Meteor on Korea, I guess we may as well have a little bit of background information on the particular jet you're going to be watching. This is the F8 variant of the Gloster Meteor series. It is currently the top jet in the British tech tree, and has an upfront cost of around 1 million lines. That's kind of excluding the cost of things such as putting it into a service, so to speak. But basically, the Gloster Meteor line first started development in the late 40s. And that's kind of where the second generation jet fighters began to emerge. Significant updates and upgrades were required to bring the Meteor series closer to their level. So the Gloster designers embarked on developing a new version designated the Gloster Meteor F8 at the end of 1947. The first prototype of the Gloster Meteor F8 model flew on October 12, 1948. And in December 1949, its full-scale production started. And it was also in the summer of 1950 that the fighters were delivered to the RAF. The first Gloster Meteor F.8 fighters became part of the Royal Air Force. The Gloster Meteor F.8 had the same stretched fuselage and training as the T Mark 7 did. The tail assembly was changed, an extra 432 litre fuel tank and blown cockpit canopy were mounted. The Gloster Meteor F8 had roll Rolls-Royce Derwent Mark 8 turbo engines, producing 1,590 kilograms of thrust, which is quite a lot. The wind structure was slightly reinforced, with alloy steels being used more in the framework, and the structure changed slightly yet again, making its disassembly easier, therefore easier to transport. The Meteor F.8 originally had Hispano Mark II cannons, but were later replaced by the Hispano Mark V. The same caliber, but they have a higher fire rate. The reliability and ballistic characteristics of them were improved as well, over things such as the Mark II Hispano cannon. The magazine capacity was 190 rounds per gun, which isn't too bad considering a standard amount of suspended HVAR missiles was provided under the wing panels for ground attack use. The Gloster Meteor F.8 was the first aircraft to have the Martin Baker ejection seat. The pilot's chances of survival were significantly increased, but the massive headrest impaired his rear view, which you can see in game. It has the metal, kind of like the metal back of the canopy, and if you look up in the cockpit, you'll see the ejection seat part above it. The first production aircraft had the cannon bore evacuators modified. Previously, the shell casing could strike the tail assembly and external fuel tanks, which isn't a good thing. The diameter of the engine's air takes was increased. This improvement added approximately 100 kilograms of thrust to each engine, bringing the aircraft's maximum speed to 950 kilometers per hour. The total number of Gloster Meteor F.8 fighters produced by 1954 was around 747, which is a fair number, so to speak. The aircraft of the Meteor F.8 version at various times in service, with over 400 RAF squadrons from 1950 all the way up to 1955. The Gloster Meteor F.8 fighters were a principal aircraft of the RAF Fighter Command. The Gloster Meteor F.8 aircraft were also accepted for service in air forces such as Australia, Belgium, Brazil, Denmark, Israel, Netherlands and Syria. Meteors of the Royal Australian Air Force took part in the Korean War. Since the early 1950s, Gloster Meteor Day fighters in the RAF began to be replaced by more advanced swept wing machines such as the Hawker Hunter and the Supermarine Swift. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight into the kind of background and origins of the Meteor F.8 and the Meteor line in general. So considering we're actually in a match currently, I guess I should talk about the game a little bit. As you see, I go up here and I instantly kill this poor MiG's pilot. The aircraft's guns itself, I know I'd previously said that they were more like shotguns, but I mean, at those sorts of ranges, you can guarantee a hit at least. It's at ranges around 0.40, 0.50 that you're going to be having trouble hitting the target. Things such as, you know, 0.30 and below is going to be a lot easier to hit targets, especially in head-ons. Sometimes they have issues when trying to target aircraft that are possibly turning, climbing or diving. Any sort of maneuver is slightly harder for these cannons to hit, but they are always reliable and they are very good guns, so that's why I enjoy playing the Meteor line. The 50 cals are something that I enjoy a lot. 50 cals, 20mm Hispano Mark 5s are something I enjoy a lot in the British line. So yeah, definitely guns to watch out for. I mean, I'm not really a very good jet pilot. I don't market myself as a good jet pilot, but I enjoy playing jets. And that doesn't mean I'm good at flying them though. I make mistakes, silly mistakes sometimes. I mean, I know how to control my aircraft, but it doesn't mean that you know, I can win in a situation every time. My death, I do die in this, or get shot down in this particular gameplay you're watching. for a reason that I think you'll find many of you will find amusing and kind of familiar, so to speak. The way that I die is quite comical, so that's always something to watch out for at the end of the video. But as you can see, I'm kind of chasing this MiG-15. It's actually the GDR MiG, so it's the German variant of the MiG-15 that was provided by the Russians to Germany, Germany's Air Force, because at the time I believe Germany was split. I don't really know much about German history after the Second World War, if I'm honest, so I believe that's when Germany was, West and Eastern Germany was separated, I believe. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I kind of just got bored of him. You know, it was a bit of a mistake, I got to admit, because now he can catch up to me. So I always keep an eye on him. But I thought, you know what, seeing as half of my team aren't bothering to help me, I may as well go over there and try and take out the CL-13. And preferably, or trying to get their attention to this MiG-15 that's on my 6. You never know, one of my teammates might turn around and try and engage him. But he's always something I've got to look out for, because he can be quite dangerous. If I keep my eyes off him for a minute, you know, he could get behind me quite easily. But yeah, I'm impressed by the Meteor's capabilities, considering it isn't a dedicated second-gen fighter. This thing isn't too bad, because at the end of the day, it's based on a 1940s design. Things like the Canadian Sabre were dedicated 1950s aircraft. So this thing has a 10-year gap, so to speak, design-wise. Doesn't mean that it can't perform and get kills at its tier. The problem is that some people have argued the case that adding things such as the Hawker Hunter in and the Supermarine Swift will give every other nation a balancing issue, but it just would not be the case. The Hawker Hunter variant that people are proposing to be added in isn't something like the Mark 8. They're saying the F1, the Hawker Hunter F1, which is comparable to things such as the MiG-15 and the Canadian Sabre. There's no difference in performance apart from looks and armament, of course. There are obvious advantages to things such as the Meteor, the Hawker Hunter, like its maneuverability, its acceleration, its rate of climb, and its armament. 4 30mm Aiden cannons is always helpful. But I don't see what the issue would be with adding it in-game, because the Hawker Hunter F1 first flew, you know, 1952-53, and was already in service by that time, so you can kind of see why people would like it in-game. I could definitely see it as a top-tier British jet. I'm sure every people that play the British jet line would agree. It would be a phenomenal addition to the line, because, as I'd said previously, the Gloster Meteor F.8 was regularly used as a ground strike aircraft. It wasn't really used for dogfighting. One Meteor had reportedly shot down a MiG-15 in the Korean War, but you've got to remember this thing was used as ground attack. It wasn't used to dogfight. That is the job of the Sabres. The Sabres shot down the MiGs because they were superior aircraft in many aspects. I'm sure the Royal Air Force didn't. The Royal Air Force didn't take part, but I think the Fleet Air Arm did, where a Hawker Sea Fury shot down a MiG-15, which is quite hilarious when you think about it. But Hawker Sea Fury is already confirmed to be coming in game soon, so that's always something to look forward to. I'm looking forward to new British aircraft. I would like to see some new British bombers put in at some point as well. But the British tech tree for jets is pretty good at the moment, although I would like to see some improvements and some new jets. Possibly some newer variants of the de Havilland Vampire, some later variants to let it perform better, because the battle ratings for that thing are just abysmal currently. Things such as the de Havilland Vampire haven't got a chance at the battle rating it's at. So I would like to see that fixed. Battle ratings have had a significant toll recently. I'm not entirely sure what the Gaijin developers were thinking when they added these battle ratings, but I'm sure it'll be fixed because the community aren't very happy with it. And at the end of the day, if the community don't like it, Gaijin are kind of cheating their own customers, so to speak. So I'm sure it will be fixed. Gaijin developers have always got our best interest in. It's just it takes time to develop a game. I mean, I'll be studying games development next year, and I'm sure I'll understand why it takes so long to add new aircraft in. I'm sure you Japanese guys will be getting your aircraft at some point. It's just a matter of time. I'm sure it won't take too long to add things such as the Japanese ME-262 variant, which I'm sure a lot of you guys would like to see. Also the Shinden. But I hope you enjoyed, guys. If you did, make sure you click that like button below. Subscribe if you're new around here for more War Thunder content. Comment if you like this style of video. It's a long one this time, so I hope you guys are enjoying that. But yeah, guys, take care. I'll see you next time.